Hi, it's Karen again. I wanted to talk today about cutting off friends, and I'm not suggesting you do this. I'm just talking about toxic friends, the ones that are, making your life worse. They're not contributing to anything good. And I've I've been through it for I don't know a long time, over 10 years. Um, it's just since I moved to this area, I couldn't find a job in what I wanted to do. It's just a small town, so they're going to go with the people they know rather than what people know. So somebody suggested to me, I guess a couple years before that, to write a book, which is what I did. So that book led into a website. So I got into having a website for a good 2 decades on fitness, and I did really well with it. I was helping a lot of people. I was giving out to the community that wasn't the information that wasn't given to me when I started, bodybuilding and fitness. It was really hard for women to come across good muscle building information, dieting information, and all that. So that's what I was giving out, and I did really well at it. But this toxic friend stuff, I was working at home all the time. I never even was able to get out into community to meet people. So when we finally bought a house a few years later, in a neighborhood, wanted to meet people, and there's a couple a house down, and we got to be friends with them. They're just very, in my opinion, self-centered. We were friends with them for, I don't know, 8, 9, 10 years. I don't know. I knew everything about their lives and where they worked, this and that, everything. But I guarantee you, they don't know one thing about my job or what I did for a living. They just took no interest in me. At one time, I was being a magazine, found some information that I wrote online, and they contacted me and asked if they could publish it. I said, yeah, that's great, publish me. So I was published in a magazine, a fitness magazine, for a while, and they would send me copies in the mail, and I got my first copy, and I was all excited, and I went to them. I was like, look, I'm published in a magazine, and they said, we ought to celebrate. They're like, oh, that's neat, well, I think later that day they decided to go celebrate this other girl's probation. I get the word confused with parole. So they wanted to celebrate her probation for, I guess she was caught with marijuana illegally at one point. So they went and celebrated that rather than me being published in a magazine. Yeah, that was my friends. And another instance with these same friends, at times we would do these little potluck dinners. Everybody, bring a dish. We bought maybe a lot of times 2 or 3 dishes, and everybody would eat. And when we go to their house, one of them would go to the kitchen and portion off stuff and save it. And that's fine, save it in your fridge. But the thing that really got to us was, she sent everyone away with a little bit to take home. Except for us. We got the dirty dishes. We got nothing to take back. And one time she did leave us a little dessert. It measured about a fourth of a cup, if that. And it was just ridiculous. So I thought, no, this is my bright idea. I said, let's have the potluck dinner at our house. Let us host it, And so we did. And it was delicious, and everybody ate. And as soon as we were finished eating, we put it away, mainly to make room to socialize. But I watched them watch everything go into our refrigerator. They watched it like a hawk. They wanted that food. And I don't know if this was the same time or a different time, but they had the audacity to call us and asked if we wanted to share some of the protein. I forgot what exactly the protein was. Chicken, turkey. I really can't remember. They wanted some portions to have that day. I'm like, well, sure, come on over. And she came over. I was like, well, did you bring anything for us? And she's like, no, I didn't think of it. I'm like, why doesn't that surprise me? So we gave them some portions. And we looked out the window. They were feeding their family a Thanksgiving meal with our potluck dinner that she asked for us portions of and refused, or didn't even think to even offer us anything that she had brought. It's like, those were my friends. And I just got to where I realized I didn't need toxic friends in my life. They were toxic. They brought nothing. They took. They didn't acknowledge anything that I did. They knew what I did for a living. I guarantee you, they did not know. When, in fact, they saw somebody walking around the store with a specific shirt and a logo, and because I wore it too, they thought it was my. No, it's not my business. I wish it was. I'd be a millionaire. No, that's not my business. You've been knowing me this long. You don't even know what I do for a living. You know. You're not even gonna go out to have a drink with me because I got published in a magazine. You're gonna go celebrate. It's the word probation. I can't even remember the word. So I just didn't. One day I just let them go and didn't contact them anymore, and they never contacted me. So I know exactly how they felt about me. Obviously I was a free ride, and saw them again at one point in the store, and they wanted to get together. I was like, well, whatever. I mean, I'm not interested in hanging out with these people anymore if that's how they're going to treat me. And it just brings back another toxic relationship. So I finally, after working 2 decades online, not knowing anybody in this town, I wanted to get a job. Part-time job. I just want to get out the house, meet people. And I did. I went to a gym in town, and right off the bat, I'm a social bug. I was talking to people, this and that. And this particular gym had a business running inside of it, like a rehab or something like that. And I guess one of the owners of that part, she wanted me to train her, this and that, and that's fine. I train. You pay me, I'll be your personal trainer. That's what I do. And then she's got to calling me her friend. She'd always address me, well, you're my friend, and I just thought that was odd. I've never had a true friend sit there and say, well, you're my friend, this and that. I was like, well, maybe this is how she is. Well, she showed me how much a friend she was. She did buy the business, the entire property. And then she wanted to keep me. She's like, I'm keeping Karen. I said, well, that's great, And she asked me the hours I wanted. I said, I'm fine with the hours I have, part-time. And I don't cause problems. And eventually she let me know that, she made the little 20-year-old manager. I was like, that's fine. I don't want to be manager. I don't want to be tied down to this place. I want to work here, and I just want to be a part of it. And it just, you think she's my friend. She'd give me something to do there. And, there's nothing to do. I was begging for things to do. And I get tired of having to pick up after my manager. He's getting salary. Why should I have to do his job when he is just playing on the phone? And I guess she didn't like me. I'm not complaining. I'm just bringing something to light. If he's making all this money, he should do his work. I was a manager at McDonald's, and I had to do my employee's job. They never had to do my job as a manager. I've been working in business and companies for over 30 years. I know how to work. And I don't need to be micromanaged. You tell me what to do, and I'll do it. I just wanted something to do, and I noticed she wasn't working me or giving me anything to do, so I was like, well, maybe she doesn't know what I'm capable of, so I submitted her. And all I have for the last 20 years is things in my fitness website, and all the people that I train. I have thousands of clients that I train online. I have all these articles I've written, books I've written. I didn't know what else, and I have a resume. I had my professional resume, so I submitted all this to her. I said, use me somewhere. I don't even think she looked at her or pissed her off. I don't know what happened. Still, I said, I couldn't get anything from her. I was like, well, can I run Facebook? Can I do the memes? And she's like, yeah. I said, okay. So I brought my laptop when they plugged in, and she come in and said, good, this is what I'm doing, this and that. And she's like, wait a minute. And we got to make sure that muscle balance. We don't want anybody getting hurt. I'm like, oh, okay. She says she's going to have her husband, the physical therapist, come in and talk to me about muscle balance. All right. You don't think I know what I'm doing after all these years, hands-on. So he come in. He's like, I don't know what he's going to teach me. I know I'm not a physical therapist by all means, but this is weightlifting. This is bodybuilding. It intertwines, but it's not the same thing. And I just pretty much stated, like, pretty much if you use a compound movement, you're stimulating every muscle group in that muscle area, right? He's like, yeah. He knew he didn't need to tell me anything, and we just kind of chatted off a little bit. But, at that point, if she doesn't think I'm capable of doing that, then I shut my laptop, got out of there. You don't think I can do it? You're right, I can't do it. And then after some time went over, I'm just getting frustrated. I'm getting passive-aggressive at this point because she will not assign me a job. She will not give me hours. And I guess one day I had a meeting with her. Well, I call it this a fight. I've never, every time we have a meeting, we're fighting. I've just never been involved in something like this. So this is my friend, mind you, and she pretty much said, and this is her words verbatim. She's like, what was it? Well, scrubbing toilets is where you shine. So she's telling me I'm qualified to scrub toilets. I don't know how many bodybuilders and figure competitors and bikini competitors that I made pro. I've written at this point 14 books, had a website for 2 decades, and you're going to tell me that I'm qualified to scrub toilets. Now, that's not below me. Before I moved here, I did clean houses. Nothing's below me. But I did not apply to that gym to do that. I applied to that gym to work the gym, to train clients, this and that. Now, I obviously understand that the locker room, is a part of the gym. But to sit there and tell me, my friend, because she says, tell me that I'm qualified to scrub toilets, all right. I put in my 2 weeks notice the next day. Mm-hmm. And after I did that, I passed her on the stairwell, and she said something to the effect of, if you change your mind, let me know. And I didn't understand what she meant. And I said, no, I'll stick out my 2 weeks. I gave you 2 weeks notice. I will stay around and let you hire someone else. She goes, no, if you want to stay, let me know. You think I'm going to stay working here when you pretty much suggested that I'm only qualified to scrub toilets and you refuse to give me any other job in this building? No. So I quit, and she's actually charging me to work out there. I'm the only personal trainer on the planet that has to pay a membership to train clients at that gym. I pay it, because I don't want anything coming back on me. But, she called me my friend this whole time, and that's how she treated me. So, I'm just saying, if you have toxic friends, they're not doing you any favors. I'm to the point that I'm cutting off friends that add no value to my life. And at this point, I don't mind. I got like maybe 5 good friends, and I know I can count on them. It's rare that I need them, but if I need someone to talk to, if I need someone to do me a quick favor, I can call on these people, and they can certainly count on me if they need something in return. So, this is part of my self-development, personal growth journey. I'm taking care of myself. I'm tired of letting people take advantage of me. So I'm caring for myself just like I did yesterday. I didn't feel too well yesterday, and it wasn't because of the illness I've been suffering with. It was completely like a 24-hour bug thing. But I noticed that I needed to take time myself, to give myself to that day and just let myself rest and recover, and that's what I did. So, stop. Don't let people take advantage of you. If those friends are belittling you and just, treating you like garbage, they're not worth it. They are not worth it. So, that's where I'm at. Cutting off toxic friends and, just sticking with the very few friends that I have that are worth it. So, that's one of my things I'm doing to grow and heal. So, I'm going to leave it at that. So, as always, I'm doing my best, and things are getting better. And I hope that they are for you too. Thank you.